My opening statement, I have a parliamentary inquiry. Given that the committee has not been authorized by the full House to conduct an impeachment inquiry, am I correct in assuming that we're obligated to follow the rules of the House, including Section 370 of the Rules and Manual, which prescribe engaging in personalities towards the President?
At ease. What? Well, considering this is an investigation of Joe Biden, I assume that his name's going to come up.
Right, but the House has not authorized this as an impeachment inquiry, so we're just operating with the general rules. And I think saying that the President lied is considered engaging in a personality. In fact, Section 370 says accusations that the President has committed a crime or even that the President has done something illegal are unparliamentary. And we're operating with the general rules of the House because the House has not authorized.
The Speaker of the House has authorized the impeachment inquiry. It has been authorized.
Okay. All right.
Point of parliamentary inquiry.
The ranking member, who wants to be recognized? Ms. Ocasio-Cortez.
I believe changing of the rules must require a vote from the full House of Representatives. The rules of the committee.
The chair overrules a point of order. While articles of impeachment are not directly before this committee, we are looking into the potential wrongdoing of the President. Given the unique nature and subject matter of today's hearing topic, these words will not be ruled out of order. So,
okay.
Ranking Member Raskin, please proceed.
Oh, nothing. Just the Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee quite literally making up the rules as he goes. And not that I have to sell anyone on this idea, but when you come out against Jamie Raskin and AOC, I can guarantee you're on the wrong side of that argument. And as they mentioned, this impeachment inquiry isn't even valid. It was announced unilaterally by Kevin McCarthy, but for an actual impeachment inquiry to take place, it has to be voted on by the full House. And that's a rule that was created during the Trump era by Republicans. In 2020, the Trump-led Justice Department formally declared that impeachment inquiries are invalid unless the entire chamber takes formal votes to authorize them. The head of the DOJ's Office of Legal Counsel wrote, "We conclude that the House must expressly authorize the committee to conduct an impeachment investigation and to use compulsory process in that investigation before the committee may compel the production of documents or testimony," meaning the committee can't compel any documents or any testimony because, again, there was no vote. There was just an edict by Kevin McCarthy. The same Kevin McCarthy, by the way, who only weeks ago gave the following quote to Breitbart: "To open an impeachment inquiry is a serious matter and House Republicans would not take it lightly or use it for political purposes. The American people deserve to be heard on this matter through their elected representatives. That's why, if we move forward with an impeachment inquiry, it would occur through a vote on the floor of the People's House and not through a declaration by one person." So if anyone should understand why this impeachment inquiry is thus far invalid, it would probably be the Republican Party's staunchest opponent to unilateral impeachment inquiry declarations himself. But of course, there's a reason why Kevin McCarthy made that unilateral decision, and it's because had he actually brought this issue to the floor for a full House vote, it would have failed, and he knew that. And the reason it was going to fail is because there is no evidence of any wrongdoing by Joe Biden. None whatsoever. And that's a point that Jamie Raskin made abundantly clear.
Chairman has publicly boasted that he received 100% of everything he asked for. And I quote, "Every subpoena that I've signed as chairman of the House Oversight Committee over the last 5 months, we've gotten 100% of what we've requested, whether it's with the FBI, with the banks, or with Treasury." That means we are the real witnesses here. In fact, the committee has received 12,000 pages of bank records. Here they are, right in front of us, printed double-sided, and not a single page shows a dime going to President Joe Biden. We've received 2,000 pages of SARS reports the chairman subpoenaed. We've held hearings and conducted interviews with everybody from Hunter Biden's business partners to a federal agent assigned to that investigation, and still we found no evidence of wrongdoing by President Biden. If the Republicans had a smoking gun or even a dripping water pistol, they would be presenting it today, but they've got nothing on Joe Biden. All they can do is return to the thoroughly demolished lie that Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump launched 5 years ago the Burisma conspiracy theory, a fairy tale so preposterous that one of its main authors, Lev Parnas, has now disowned and repudiated it.
I would say this is a dumpster fire, but that wouldn't be fair to dumpster fires. And by the way, in the aftermath of that routing by Raskin and AOC, even Fox picked up on just how wholly unprepared James Comer and the Republicans seem to be.
First of all, James Comer and the Republicans were unprepared for this. There were a number of rules questions that Jamie Raskin and AOC were asking, procedural, which he didn't know how to deal with, which is just embarrassing if you're a chair of a committee. There were no fact witnesses and there was no new evidence. And to set the table, there's a new NBC poll out that says that 56% of Americans are not interested in this. But you know what they are interested in? Keeping the government open. And that's why there were government shutdown clocks. If you are, and I understand, Judge, you say, you don't shoot your wad or whatever analogy on the first day. But if you were to pick 3 witnesses to sit there, would you want 2/3 of them to shoot a hole in your argument? Jesse would have been a better witness for this than Jonathan Turley or Dubinsky. Turley said, I do not believe that the current evidence would support articles of impeachment. Dubinsky says more information needs to be gathered before I can make that assessment.
But that's the whole point.
Preemptively, I know what you're going to say. It's an inquiry.
Point. That's different.
But then, okay. First of all, you usually lead with your strongest argument. But secondly, they haven't asked for anything new. The whole point of this was, I have more subpoena power. I'm going to get more information. But they just presented the same old BS talking points. GOP aides freaking out, talking to reporters, saying things like, this is an unmitigated disaster. And picking witnesses that refute House Republicans' arguments for impeachment is mind-blowing.
You know it's bad when even the Fox roundtable concedes that Republicans took exactly nothing away from this impeachment inquiry other than a regurgitation of their old talking points. And of course, that is what it'll always be, because just like there was no evidence to support their claims before, there still won't be any evidence to support their claims now. But then that doesn't really matter, because it's not about the facts, it's about perpetuating a narrative that Joe Biden did something wrong. For Republicans, just having this hearing in and of itself is the goal. Why? Because it gives the optics of wrongdoing by Joe Biden. Not everyone is going to actually listen to what these politicians said and recognize just how baseless this whole exercise was, but they will see that there's an impeachment inquiry and they'll assume that Biden must have done something wrong, because why else would this be happening? And that's the goal for the GOP. They want to manipulate their low information voters and nothing more. And so instead of, oh, I don't know, keeping the government open, Republicans are out here running sham hearings where even their own witnesses are coming forward and conceding that there's no there there. And so when hundreds of thousands of government employees don't get their next paycheck, we can all feel nice and relieved that when Republicans should have been passing a bill to fund the government, instead they were performing for some 5-minute cable hit on Fox and Newsmax. This is an egregiously unserious inquiry, and it's being led by even less serious people. Before you go, I need some help. Please subscribe to the channel and do your part to help grow the progressive media ecosystem. I don't do sponsorships or paid ads, I won't ask for money, but just subscribing to this channel goes a really long way, and it helps get the message out to more people. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. You can also subscribe to my Spanish language channel, which I made to reach those crucial Spanish-speaking voters. That link is on the screen too. And finally, if you want to listen to my audio podcast, you can follow that link as well. Thanks so much for watching.